The tiger Panthera tigris is the largest living cat species and a member of the genus Panthera. It is most recognizable for its dark vertical stripes on orange-brown fur with a lighter underside. It is an apex predator, primarily preying on ungulates, such as deer and wild boar. It is territorial and generally a solitary but social predator, requiring large contiguous areas of habitat which support its requirements for prey and rearing of its offspring. Tiger cubs stay with their mother for about 2 years before they become independent and leave their mother's home range to establish their own. The tiger was first scientifically described in 1758 and once ranged widely from the eastern Anatolia region in the west to the Am River basin in the east, and in the south from the foothills of the Himalayas to Bali in the Sunda Islands. Since the early 20th century, tiger populations have lost at least 93% of their historic range and have been extirpated from Western and Central Asia, the islands of Java and Bali, and in large areas of Southeast and South Asia and China. Today, the tiger's range is fragmented, stretching from Siberian temperate forests to subtropical and tropical forests on the Indian subcontinent and Sumatra. The tiger is listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List. As of 2015, the global wild tiger population was estimated to number between 3,062 and 3,948 mature individuals, with most of the populations living in small isolated pockets. India currently hosts the largest tiger population. Major reasons for population decline are habitat destruction, habitat fragmentation and poaching. Tigers are also victims of human-wildlife conflict, particularly in range countries with a high human population density. The Middle English tigre and Old English tigros derive from Old French tigre, from Latin tigris. This was a borrowing of classical Greek to iota gamma, rho iota sigma tigris, a foreign borrowing of unknown origin meaning tiger and the river Tigris. The origin may have been the Persian word tigra meaning pointed or sharp, and the Avestan word tigrahi arrow, perhaps referring to the speed of the tiger's leap, although these words are not known to have any meanings associated with tigers. The generic name Panthera is derived from the Latin word panthera, and the ancient Greek word pi alpha nu theta eta rho panther. The Sanskrit word pan, air means pale yellow, whitish, white. In 1758, Carl Linnaeus described the tiger in his work Systema Naturae and gave it the scientific name Felis tigris. In 1929, the British taxonomist Reginald Innes Pocock subordinated the species under the genus Panthera using the scientific name Panthera tigris. The tiger's closest living relatives were previously thought to be the Panthera species lion, leopard and jaguar. Results of genetic analysis indicate that about 2,880,000 years ago, the tiger and the snow leopard lineages diverged from the other Panthera species, and that both may be more closely related to each other than to the lion, leopard and jaguar. The geographic origin of the Panthera is most likely northern Central Asia or the Holarctic region. The tiger-snow leopard lineage dispersed in Southeast Asia during the Miocene. Panthera zdansky is considered to be a sister taxon of the modern tiger. It lived at the beginning of the Pleistocene about 2 million years ago. Its fossil remains were excavated in Gansu province of northwestern China. It was smaller and more primitive but functionally and ecologically similar to the modern tiger. It is disputed as to whether it had the stripping pattern. Northwestern China is thought to be the origin of the tiger lineage. Tigers grew in size, possibly in response to adaptive radiations of prey species like deer and bovids, which may have occurred in Southeast Asia during the early Pleistocene. Panthera tigris trinalensis lived about 1,200,000 years ago and is known from fossils excavated near Trinil in Java. The Wanxian, Ngondone, Trinil, and Japanese tigers became extinct in prehistoric times. Tigers reached India and northern Asia in the late Pleistocene, reaching eastern Beringa, Japan, and Sakhalin. Some fossil skulls are morphologically distinct from lion skulls, which could indicate tiger presence in Alaska during the last glacial period, about 100,000 years ago. In the Eel Cave on the island of Palawan, 2 articulated phalanx bones were found amidst an assemblage of other animal bones and stone tools. They were smaller than mainland tiger fossils, possibly due to insular dwarfism. It has been speculated that the tiger parts were either imported from elsewhere, or that the tiger colonized Palawan from Borneo before the Holocene. Fossil remains of tigers were also excavated in Sri Lanka, China, Japan and Sarawak dating to the late Pliocene, Pleistocene and early Holocene. The Bornean tiger was apparently present in Borneo between the late Pleistocene and the Holocene, but whether it went extinct in prehistoric or recent times has not been resolved. Results of a phylogeographic study indicate that all living tigers had a common ancestor, 108,000 to 72,000 years ago. The potential tiger range during the late Pleistocene and Holocene was predicted applying ecological niche modeling based on more than 500 tiger locality records combined with bioclimatic data. The resulting model shows a contiguous tiger range at the last glacial maximum, indicating gene flow between tiger populations in mainland Asia. The Caspian tiger population was likely connected to the Bengal tiger population through corridors below elevations of 4,000 meters and 13,000 feet in the Hindu Kush. The tiger populations on the Sunda Islands and mainland Asia were possibly separated during interglacial periods. The tiger's full genome sequence was published in 2013. It was found to have similar repeat composition to other cat genomes, and an appreciably conserved synteny. The tiger has a muscular body with powerful forelimbs, a large head and a tail that is about half the length of its body. Its pelage is dense and heavy, and coloration varies between shades of orange and brown with white ventral areas and distinctive vertical black stripes that are unique in each individual. Stripes are likely advantageous for camouflage in vegetation, such as long grass with strong vertical patterns of light and shade. The tiger is one of only a few striped cat species. It is not known why spotted patterns and rosettes are the more common camouflage pattern among felids. The orangish kalau may also aid in camouflage, as the tiger's prey are dichromats, and thus may perceive the cat as green and blended in with the vegetation. A tiger's coat pattern is still visible when it is shaved. This is not due to skin pigmentation, but to the stubble and hair follicles embedded in the skin. It has a mane-like heavy growth of fur around the neck and jaws and long whiskers, especially in males. The pupils are circular with yellow irises. The small, rounded ears have a prominent white spot on the back, surrounded by black. These spots are thought to play an important role in intraspecific communication. The tiger's skull is similar to a lion's skull, with the frontal region, usually less depressed or flattened, and a slightly longer, postorbital region. The lion's skull shows broader, nasal openings. Due to the variation in skull sizes of the two species, the structure of the lower jaw is a reliable indicator for their identification. The tiger has fairly stout teeth. Its somewhat curved canines are the longest among living felids, with a crown height of up to 90 mm (3.5 in). There are 3 kalau variants, white, golden and stripeless snow white, that now rarely occur in the wild due to the reduction of wild tiger populations, but continue in captive populations. The white tiger has white fur and sepia brown stripes. The golden tiger has a pale golden pelage with a blonde tone and reddish brown stripes. The snow white tiger is a morph with extremely faint stripes and a pale reddish brown ring tail. Both snow white and golden tigers are homozygous for CORN gene mutations. A black tiger is a kalau variant due to pseudomelanism. They have thick stripes close together so that the background kalau is barely visible between stripes. The white tiger lacks phenylalanine, which creates the orange kalau, and has dark sepia brown stripes and blue eyes. This altered pigmentation is caused by a mutant gene that is inherited as an autosomal recessive trait, which is determined by a white locus. It is not an albino, as the black pigments are scarcely affected. The mutation changes a single amino acid in the transporter protein SLC45A2. Both parents need to have the allele for whiteness to have white cubs. Between the early and mid-20th century, white tigers were recorded and shot in the Indian states of Odisha, Bihar, Assam and in the area of Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. The local Maharaja started breeding tigers in the early 1950s and kept a white male tiger, together with its normal colored daughter. They had white cubs. To preserve this recessive trait, only a few white individuals were used in captive breeding, which led to a high degree of inbreeding. Inbreeding depression is the main reason for many health problems of captive white tigers, including strabismus, stillbirth, deformities and premature death. Other physical defects include cleft palate and scoliosis. The tiger species survival plan has condemned the breeding of white tigers, alleging they are of mixed ancestry and of unknown lineage. The genes responsible for white coloration are represented by 0.001% of the population. The disproportionate growth in numbers of white tigers points to inbreeding among homozygous recessive individuals. This would lead to inbreeding depression and loss of genetic variability. In William Blake's poem In His Songs of Experience, titled The Tiger is a menacing and fearful animal. In Yann Martel's Man Booker Prize-winning novel Life of Pi, the protagonist, surviving shipwreck for months in a small boat, somehow avoids being eaten by the other survivor, a large Bengal tiger. The story was adapted in Ang Lee's feature film of the same name. Jim Corbett's Man-Eaters of Kumaon tells 10 true stories of his tiger hunting exploits in what is now the northern Uttarakhand region of India. The book has sold over 4 million copies and has been the basis of both fictional and documentary films. In Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, the tiger, Shere Khan, is the mortal enemy of the human protagonist, Mowgli. More benign tiger characters include Tigger and A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh and Hobbies of the comic strip Calvin and Hobbies, both of whom are represented as simply stuffed animals come to life. Tigers are also mascots for various sports teams around the world. Tony the Tiger is a famous mascot for Kellogg's breakfast cereal Frosted Flakes, known for its catchphrase "They're great." The Esso Exxon brand of petrol was advertised from 1959 onwards with the slogan "Put a tiger in your tank," and a tiger mascot. More than 2,500,000 synthetic tiger tails were sold to motorists, who tied them to their petrol tank caps. Thanks for watching the video.